What's going on, y'all? Machiavelli Mills TV. Happy Father's Day to all the amazing dads out here doing a great job rearing these beautiful children, raising them in the right direction, being with them every step of the way, always letting them know you're in their corner, always loving on your children, telling them you love them. Um, and raising them to be upright, uh, outstanding, and optimistic babies, man. Like, the other day, my daughter graduated from the 8th grade, right? She's 14 years old. And as I was watching her walk across the stage, get her name called, I was smiling ear to ear because how happy she was to be celebrating achieving a milestone with her friends, right? And I'm watching her hang with her best friends and they all taking pictures together. I'm taking pictures of them. She taking pictures with me, my mom, my grandmother, her mother, her other grandmother, her aunties, and all of that. Like, man, fatherhood is a beautiful thing. It's a real beautiful thing. My daughter graduated a couple days ago, and that was my early Father's Day gift because there's no better gift. And this is not like, people sound cliche when they say these things, but as a father of 2 children, I can really say this. There's no better gift than to see your children grow, accomplish incredible feats, reach certain milestones, maintain their creativity while still having a zeal for life all the way around. Like, my daughter, she loves life. She loves being with friends. She loves listening to music. She loves doing all type of things in nature. She loves creative arts. She likes fashion. She loves, like, watching YouTube content. She enjoys like nice dinners and nice meals, etc., and all of those things. And I had her when I was 18 years old. And to see her now is just like, it's a remarkable feeling for me. Being a father at 18 years old, I was scared out of my mind. I was a high school student in my senior year of high school. And it was a crazy feeling to know I was a dad, but with the support system that I had, I was able to pour into my daughter all the way as best as I could. I still went to college, got my degrees, got multiple degrees, and was able to get a job to take care of my baby, right? And then years later, my son came when I was 27 years old. And my son taught me and I talk about this a lot. He taught me about fatherhood in a completely different way. I really, really learned what it means to advocate for your children and your children in every way possible. And I really learned it from my son's mother, because the way she advocates for our son, who has an autism diagnosis, which is why I wear this puzzle piece pendant around my neck, right? The way she advocates for our son is a beautiful thing. No stone goes unturned when it comes to getting services for our son. Therapy services, speech therapy, occupational therapy, developmental therapy, having them in a school with children who have autism. Now we're seeking to get ABA therapy, etc. It teaches me to walk with my baby and to let the world know that I'm standing with my baby firmly. I'm going to make sure he's treated respectfully and treated with care everywhere he goes, from everybody. I make sure that when I'm around other people, they know I don't play about my children at all. And I'm not going to play about my son. I'm not going to play about him. Because we live in a world where, a lot of people, they don't teach their children about children that have special needs. And a lot of people, I'm going to say this too, because people tell you, oh, y'all being too soft with these kids. You don't know what it's like to have a child with a special need until you have one. So I don't give a fuck, and excuse my language, I don't care how much you've seen your cousin have a baby like that and this, that, and the third. The spectrum is wide and broad. And so your cousin is not the same as my child. My child ain't the same as your friend, daughter that you see every once in a blue moon. Until you with your baby all the time, and you parenting a child with an autism diagnosis, you won't know what that is like. You don't know what that world is like. So people cast all of these aspersions on parents. They cast all of these yeah, they say all these different things. I'm trying to say if that word was the right word to use, excuse me. But yeah, they make all these assumptions. Oh, y'all babying these kids, and they ain't no different than any other kid. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. I know we want to, especially we as black people, we try to act like children with autism and certain developmental delays aren't any different. They are. So they have to be parented differently. My son isn't verbal. He babbles. He says some words here and there. He says mama, daddy, but he don't talk really, So I have to handle him with care in a different way. And I have to be patient with my boy to see what he's trying to communicate, etc. And he taught me the pureness of a child. He's always so happy, smiling, always joyful. And that innocence is what is beautiful to see in your babies. He's 4 years old. In a cold world like this, in the cold world that we live in, to see that innocence in your baby is like it's a joyful, a beautiful feeling for me, for his mother, and it's been an absolute treat to see him grow, develop his own personality, to see him gain certain interests in certain things, to see certain milestones that he has hit, after having certain challenges in certain areas and getting past those challenges, overcoming them. Man, it's a beautiful thing, man. And I will say that, yeah, I learned so much from being his dad and being my daughter's dad as well, from both of them. I learned so much from both of them. And I let people know I ain't playing about my kids, because I don't want anybody to ever think that you can treat my children any type of way and nothing and think you're not going to have to answer to their father. Because you are. I smile a lot and I joke a lot, but I love these babies with everything in me. Okay? They are a part of me. And I'm proud to call them mine. And then I transitioned to my, to my growth as a father, and how I was able to transition into fatherhood, not seamlessly per se, but like I was able to transition pretty well, even in my youth, due to the father that I had growing up, and the father that I have currently still to this day. My father, man, I'm always grateful that I have the dad that I have. My father wasn't a street dude. He was an upright black man who didn't take no mess off nobody, like a James Evans from Good Times. Okay? My dad taught me, like him not being a street dude, he provided the example of what I'm supposed to be in his lifetime, and what type of father I'm supposed to be for my children. He always tell me that I'm a better dad than he ever was in a lot of different areas, because of, of how hands-on I am with a lot of different things, right? Well, my dad always, I'm thankful for this. He always told us he loved us. He apologized to us when he did things the wrong way. I always felt like my dad, I never felt like he wasn't there in my corner. He was there every step of the way. Even when he wasn't in the house, he was always there. I could go to my dad's house for 2 months at a time and stay with him, and he wouldn't never trip about none of that at all. I knew I could go to him for advice on many different things. I knew that he was always present. Every graduation I had, from kindergarten to grad school when I got my master's degree. He was there in my corner when I became a young dad. Yeah, man. Anytime I needed an ear to listen, anytime I needed him to physically be there with me, he was there with me all the time, and not just me, but my other siblings as well. You know, my mother used to. My mother, I used to laugh. My mother did not go to report card pickups. She would send my father to pick up our report cards. You know what I mean? She would have him go and get it and stuff. And he was all like, again, he was at the report card pickups, school assemblies, and all of that. And I admired him for that, and I still admire him for that to this day. You know, a lot of times when I'm watching the games on the weekends, because y'all know I work nights. So the only time I could watch the games at nights is on like weekends when I'm not working. And when he know I'm at home, he called me. We talking about the game, we laughing and joking. He's a man who is funny as ever, cool as a fan. You know, was all growing up, he was super fly dude, man. A lot of the girls liked him. He was always charismatic. He was fun to be around. And he's the same way to this day. He ain't played with us, though. He ain't played with us. But I'm thankful I had a father who never was afraid to tell us he loved us, to hug us all the time. I woke up to a text message at 6 this morning from my dad saying, "Happy Father's Day, son. I love you, man." And that, like, for me, that felt great. It was at 6:30 this morning. Before I could even tell him Happy Father's Day, he woke up and texted me that message. And I'll text him back, but he's still finna call me. Yeah, so I'm grateful for the examples of fathers that I had in my life. My father, then my grandfathers. May God rest their soul. You know, they're no longer here. I told y'all, man, my maternal grandfather passed away in the month of April. And again, I learned so much from him. My other grandfather, I learned so much from my uncles, etc. And so on this Father's Day, I'm going to be celebrating the man who was always in my corner and helped to raise me. You know, but my father though, man, he showed me the blueprint for real. And he always tell me that I expounded upon that in many ways. But like, I grew up feeling like my dad was like, I could go to him for anything. Somebody messing with me, I go get my dad. My dad wasn't gonna let no harm come to none of us. He was never gonna let nobody do nothing to us. He was never gonna let nobody encroach on us. He was never gonna let anybody feel like they could ever threaten us or feel like, you know, we were. He let us know we were protected, and he let people know that you couldn't play with us even when he wasn't around. You know, he taught us the importance of being a leader, not being a follower, and yeah, being true to yourself, not being what other people want you to be. And so I'm always thankful for the example he provided. And now I'm pouring those same lessons into my children. I'm blessed to, I'm blessed to have my babies. I look at them and I'll be like, man, a lot of times I get emotional because I remember when they was first born. I remember first holding them. I remember, you know, being up late at night with them, rocking them to sleep. I remember long sleepless nights trying to get stuff done. I remember when COVID hit and my son was an infant and my daughter was going through virtual learning and I was working from home trying to manage all of those things. And I'll be dog tired, exhausted mentally, but I remember my babies being my motivation, and they still my motivation to this day. To this day. As y'all know on this channel, man, I was laid off from work for like 7 months. And that whole time, I poured into my YouTube channel. And my thing was this is my passion. But I really wanted to make this thing work so that I can have something of my own so that I can continue to pour into my babies. You know what I mean? Because especially at that time, the YouTube channel was saving me. I don't make a ton of money off my channel, but it was enough to help cover bills that I really needed to cover because the unemployment wasn't enough. Things to keep my children having a similar way of life that wasn't too far off than what we were living, even though my income changed drastically. You know, but I'm thankful for them. I'm blessed for them. And I wanted to give a shout out to all the fathers out here doing that good deed, man. Never, you know, we gonna go through a lot of stuff as men, a lot of things we don't talk about, a lot of stuff we keep held in, a lot of stuff we will always keep close to the chest for whatever reasons, right? But even through all the things that we go through, let your babies be your motivation as best as possible. Keep pouring into these kids. Keep, you know, filling them with love, and keep raising them in love. That way you don't have hardened children out here. Being in Chicago, on the south side of Chicago, I've seen a lot of people parent their children incorrectly. They were super harsh, mean, very what's the word I'm looking for? Condescending, and they would denigrate their children a lot. We got to speak life into these babies, man, because they're going to remember that. Speak life into them. They're going to remember that. And know that, damn, it didn't feel like my parents loved me. Let them know that you love them, and raise them in love so that they could send that word, excuse me, so they can send that love that you pour into them. They can send that love out into the world, and they don't grow up as hardened children. I've seen so many hardened young men here in Chicago. That got to change. Keep loving on these babies, y'all. Peace.